Good evening. It is April 9th, 2026. The kinetic strikes in the Gulf have halted, but as the physical missiles stop, the battle lines are shifting from physical airspace to the legal and technological control of military artificial intelligence. To secure a ceasefire in the Gulf, Washington relied on non-Western mediation, with Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif serving as the primary broker. The Islamabad Accord reflects a reliance on regional backchannels to manage the crisis, as the U.S. and Iran used Pakistani and Egyptian diplomacy to find a face-saving exit. The physical catalyst that forced these negotiations was Iran's asymmetric blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. This 21-mile-wide waterway trapped 20 million barrels of daily crude production. The resulting scarcity drove Brent crude to $120 a barrel, surging maritime war risk insurance by 800%. Beyond oil, the blockade completely suspended shipments of Qatari LNG, which much of Europe had relied on to replace Russian gas. Because natural gas is the primary feedstock for nitrogen-based fertilizers, the halt in shipments triggered a 40% collapse in global urea production, threatening agricultural stability across the global south. These cascading failures across energy and agriculture mark the end of the just-in-time supply chain model. Importers like India and the EU are fast-tracking strategic reserves to prioritize sovereignty over market efficiency. While the blockade choked the economy, the kinetic campaign in Gaza and Iran established artificial intelligence as the new standard for military engagement. Programs like Lavender and Gospel analyze mass surveillance data to identify targets in seconds. This speed compresses the targeting cycle, often at the cost of meaningful human control. Financial markets are responding to this shift toward automation. We see double-digit rallies in defense tech like Apollo Microsystems, while TCS has reported that its annualized AI revenue now exceeds $2.3 billion. These financial surges show that capital is flowing towards the speed of AI-integrated systems. As investors reward growth in these technologies, the incentive structure is moving towards the same automated kill chains that reduce the time for human oversight. This push for military automation is triggering resistance from the developers of these tools. Major companies like Anthropic are now challenging the government's attempt to use commercial AI for surveillance and targeting. On March 9th, the tension moved to the courts, with Anthropic filing federal lawsuits against the Department of Defense. Anthropic is challenging the Pentagon's decision to designate the company as a supply chain risk. The company argues this was a coercive move intended to force commercial AI compliance for military use. This legal battle represents the first major conflict between Silicon Valley's ethical safety protocols and the military's demand for uninhibited algorithmic speed. We are now inside a 14-day ceasefire window. The agreements reached in the next 2 weeks will dictate both the geopolitical boundaries of the Middle East and the technological rules of engagement for the rest of the decade. I'm Alex Reed. Thank you for watching.